Here on this beautiful Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, as we do every week. I am coming to you from beautiful downtown San Francisco, California, in the fragrant Soma neighborhood. And our stalwart host, Dr. Satya Malik, is joining us from
San Diego, California.
That's right. And we've got a couple of guests this week. Go ahead and briefly just introduce yourselves and tell the folks where you're coming from, please.
I'm Awaf from Pakistan, and I am doing computer engineering from National University of Technology, New Tech.
Myself, Mariam Riaz. I'm doing computer engineering from New Tech.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. These two folks were the leaders of the popular vote-winning team for OpenCV AI Competition 2023. We're lucky to have them here today. Good morning, Nico from Holland, Angola, Switzerland. We love to see it, folks. Let's have a quick look at where everyone else is joining us from here on our various channels. Mohammed Hassan says hi on LinkedIn. Hello, Mohammed. Hello, Italy. Hello, Germany. More Germany. We've got a few people filtering in here on YouTube. They might notice that I'm trying out a little different layout than normal.
Yeah, people from all around the world are joining in. We'll get started in just a few minutes.
That's right.
We're waiting for people to join.
Yep, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, and here on Zoom. Hello, Sri Lanka, Iran, Peru, more Iran, Charleston, South Carolina. Hello, Antonios. Hello, Brussels, France. Hello, Austin, Texas. Hello, Haved from Italy. Hello, Turkey. Hello, France again. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. More Iran.
Okay, we can get started, I guess. 2 minutes.
I think so. One moment here. Let me just switch the view. All right, take it away, boss.
Hello and welcome everybody to OpenCV Live. I'm Dr. Satya Malik, and I'm your host for this webinar. So today, our guests are Mariam Riaz and Awab Yunus, a pair of students from National University of Technology, Islamabad. And together they created Opti Sentinel, the popular vote winner for OpenCV AI Competition. And this has been hosted on hackster.io. You can go and check out their entry. But before we get started, as always, with me is Phil Nelson, who is the Director of Content and Creative at OpenCV.org. He organizes the show, and if anything goes wrong, it's his fault.
Yes, that's right, everyone. Welcome to OpenCV Live, the show where nothing can possibly go wrong. Excuse me, that's possibly go wrong. That's the first time anything's ever gone wrong. I am your co-host with the co-most, the second banana, who is second to none. I'm also your +1 and only. It's Mr. Nelson if you're nasty, but you, my dear friends, can call me Phil, and I'm here to remind you of a few things that we do on every single episode of this show, the first of which is a special giveaway to you in the audience. Stay tuned. Later in the episode, I will ask a trivia question based on the presentation from our esteemed guests, and the first person to answer that trivia question correctly here in the Zoom chat will win the OpenCV course of their choosing. You can find out what courses are available by going to opencv.org/university. We're also taking questions from you in the audience directly. Use the Zoom Q&A button at the bottom of the screen to ask your question at any time during the show, and we will do our best to flow it into conversation. We'll also reserve some time at the end to answer those questions we couldn't get to. You can also email us your questions at newsletter@opencv.org. Before we get started with the presentation today, however, there's a few bits of OpenCV business to discuss. First of which, we are currently running the OpenCV IDE survey. This is a survey open to the entire community. I'm going to drop the link in chat here. And the purpose of this is to see what folks are using out there for both the Python and C++ flavors of OpenCV. We encourage everyone to head over there and fill out the short questionnaire. It's only 6 questions long. It'll take you like 2 minutes. We appreciate all of you that have already filled out the form, and we'll have it open for a few more weeks probably. Also, we have some announcements here. The first of which we should talk a little bit about Google's Summer of Code. Stia, you want to discuss a bit with the audience here? We just found out we were accepted as well as CVAT, another OpenCV project.
Right. So, people who don't know, Google pays a few organizations. They are selected every year, open source organizations, and this thing is called Google Summer of Code, where they pay interns and a little bit to the mentors, so that interns can contribute to the open source project, right? So we have been submitting our application every year and getting accepted every year for the past many years. There was one gap year. The reasons I'll exclude why we missed that 1 year.
I guess we know whose fault that was.
It wasn't my fault. Anyway, so we missed 1 year, but for the last 10, 15 years, I cannot remember, we have been accepted. And as part of Google Summer of Code, basically we have a few projects. Usually we get 10 slots. Those slots have not been allocated yet, but usually we get around 10 slots from Google. And an intern, basically for every slot, we have a project, and there is a mentor we select for that slot. And once you have a mentor, if you are a student who is interested in becoming an intern, you go and see what are the projects you're interested in, and you can talk to the mentors in our forum, and they will guide you. They'll choose basically whether you are the right person for that project or not. And once you have talked to the mentor, you can go and apply to Google Summer of Code. And usually what happens is that we don't directly have influence over who Google selects, but there is some influence, right? When we recommend somebody, Google takes that into account to select. And then you work with the mentor for 2 months or 3 months, and then the project gets included into Google Summer of Code. So please, if you're a student, take a look at that. You have to be a student. There is no way to not be a student and get into Google Summer of Code, but it's open to people all around the world. There may be some restrictions on a few countries, but I think it is open to most of the world. So please check it out.
Yes, thanks so much to Google for their help here. It's a lot of interesting stuff has been contributed to OpenCV over the years through Google Summer of Code, and we're happy to participate again this year. Moving on, we've also got the new OpenCV 5 workboard. We talked about this a little bit last week. We're going to start sending out sort of short email updates on what's being worked on as we continue with OpenCV 5. You want to talk about that a little bit, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for setting it up. First of all, Phil, we wanted to make our whole development process more transparent, more open, so that people who are relying on OpenCV, they get visibility into what is coming in OpenCV 5 and what is being worked on in an easy way. You could do that even before by looking at what people are working on, but this actually makes it much nicer. And also what bug fixes we are working on, etc. Those things will be all listed in this document or on this link. And if you have any suggestions, frankly, please send us an email, and we'll be happy to incorporate those suggestions. But the tool has been fixed. We are going to use GitHub, this project management tool,
for the first time or as an organization?
Yeah, and it's also good, it's all open and people can see what we are working on. For example, here you can see that one of the things that we are going to do is remove some of the old detectors, etc., some of the old code from OpenCV core library and move it to OpenCV contrib. And those things will impact. So it's not going to be 100% backwardly compatible, And those hard choices we have to make sometimes. But anyways, you can see these things coming, and you're not surprised when OpenCV 5 hits.
Yeah, and we're looking for your feedback too. I mean, this is a community. We couldn't do this without y'all, so feel free to check out, comment. If you find bugs, you can send them to issues, and those will also end up in this board as well. And thanks so much to the OpenCV core team for kind of embracing a new tool. It's always tough to do when you're building software to start tracking things in a new way, but it seems like it's going pretty well so far. Also, there's a few ways that you can support OpenCV out there if you would like to. We recently did our Indiegogo campaign for OpenCV 5 and raised just a little over $200,000 total from everybody that donated both on and off the campaign. And as a part of that, people were asking us, is there any way we can support you off of the crowdfunding, off of Indiegogo? And so we've set up this page for you at opencv.org/support that shows you all of the different ways that you can support OpenCV directly, one of which is by giving us donations via credit cards on Stripe or sending us via PayPal. As a reminder, OpenCV is a 501 nonprofit organization in the US. That means most of your donations, if you're US based, are probably tax deductible. We will send you a tax note that you can use for your taxes this year. It's getting close to tax time, so maybe you've got a couple extra bucks to spare. Send them our way and support open source computer vision. You can also become a member organization if you're part of a group or company that uses OpenCV. In fact, we've got 3 different membership tiers. There's bronze, silver, and gold. Each come with different perks we provide as a courtesy for the amount of monetary support. Also, your company could possibly donate developer time. That's also a totally acceptable way to help OpenCV and keep the greatest advancements for AI and computer vision open to the people. In fact, we actually have a new OpenCV Bronze member to welcome today. Big shout out to our friends at Rerun. You've probably seen Rerun's awesome videos on LinkedIn or even at some conventions and events. It is an amazing visualization tool for multimodal data sets, and we're so happy to have them here. You may remember them from being on a previous episode of the show, and we will definitely have them back, especially now that they're a member. So yeah, if Rerun's out there watching, be looking for an invoice from me. You can also sponsor
Rerun.
Yes, thanks, Rerun. You can also sponsor OpenCV on GitHub if that's a thing you would like to do. Go to github.com/sponsors/OpenCV, or you can go to github.com/OpenCV and click the little heart icon, and that will take you here. For $9 a month, you can get your little tag in the current sponsors list, and you'll get a little thing on your profile that says you support OpenCV, and we really appreciate you. There's also brand new as of this month, the OpenCV shop. You can shop from t-shirts, buttons, pins, bags, little dog bandanas. And if you buy one of those, please take a picture of your pet in the bandana and send it to us. We need the engagement. We've got 3 different flavors of the I Love OpenCV shirt in English, Simplified Chinese, and en Espanol. These shirts are not priced cheaply, but they are priced to actually make us some money because of the way that the store works. We're not carrying any inventory or whatever. So if you're wondering why the shirts are $40, it's because we're a nonprofit open source library.
It's a donation. I mean, think about it as a donation and not. I mean, I can tell you these shirts will not be worth $40. It is a way to donate and feel good.
They're totally fine. I'm wearing one right now.
Oh yeah, they're nice shirts. I just wanted to set the expectations.
Right. It's not there is no gold in the shirt. We can say that for sure. ROC is asking, what about OpenCV baseball caps? Great idea. Don't know why I didn't think of that. We'll see what we can do there. People are asking for different translations of the I Love OpenCV shirt. Honestly, send us an email, newsletter@opencv.org with your language and what I Love OpenCV would best translate, and we'll do a double check, and maybe your shirt in the language you prefer will end up in the store.
It becomes very complicated in Hindi. I mean, you never say things like, what you would say is that, I mean, it gets very complicated. I cannot say that मैं OpenCV से प्यार करता हूँ, right? That would sound very ridiculous. So the translation doesn't go
We'll have to come up with something better. I think you know, given our audience, I think we should do some localization work on these
Right.
t-shirts. Um, yes, and so our guests this week are from OpenCV AI Competition 2023. We want to give another quick shout out to Hackster.io, the official community platform of OpenCV, and thanks to them for allowing us to use their platform in exchange for becoming a silver member. It's a great platform for competitions and really simplifies the work on our side, which means that we can spend the time we would normally be spending working on infrastructure for our competitions to work on finding better sponsors for those competitions and also making them as good as possible and doing shows like this for you. So thanks a lot to Hackster. You can find all of the winners from this year's competition on the competition page at hackster.io/contests.
Yeah.
That is all I got
And
right
also
now.
our sponsors for the contest, Kadas and
That's right, Seed
Seed Studio.
Studio.
Really thankful for them as well.
Yep, thanks so much.
Yep.
Shout out to Elaine at Seed Studio for making that happen. That's all I got right now, boss. Back to you.
All right. So yeah, why don't we? The show is yours, Awab and Mariam. Take it from here. Show us what you what you built. Very excited to see that.
Me too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen.
Looks good.
This is
All
our
right.
project, Opti Sentinel. So it's the main tagline of this. Our project is your robotic partner in the field. It shows that this robotic robot will be going to be your partner in your field. So this is our team description. I am Mohammad Awab, and I do all the
Myself,
AI stuff, and this is my contact info. And Mariam, you may go on.
then myself, Mariam Raz, I'm a project manager and this is my info. Then we have a third group member, that is Kinza Noreen, who is a data scientist. Next. So here is a line from starting motivation up to other OpenCV projects we are going to discuss. Starting from the motivation, why we are going to design this project. There are some problems. So according to this, there are some problems. That's why we are going to design this project related to security and surveillance. Then we have a problem that individual cannot survive any project or any security continuously. So we design this project. Then we have a solution of our project, introduction of our project, hardware that used in this project. Then we have a software, our checkpoints, applications, and advancement on which we are working now. Next. Motivation. What was the motivation behind our project? Basically, there is a problem of budget. So we designed this project according to that an organization provide us an organization provide us a budget, so we can't so we an individual can't manage everything in that. So that's why we designed this project. Sorry, Awab, you can continue from this.
Lord. Okay, the basically problem was that in the Pakistan, there are a lot of workers and we have a lot of work on the towers as well. So most of the people are not following safety protocols, like they are not wearing helmet, they are not wearing vest and etc. So what was the issue is that there are a lot of companies who work and they need to send an individual. What that individual do, that they have to check and balance on the workers that they are following safety protocols or not. So that was the main problem, that why workers are not adhering to their safety protocols. So we got a couple of solutions. I don't know. The main solution I discussed that a person go by himself and check it out why it is why people are not adhering and they have to do some plenties and etc. What the company have policies. There are other some solutions that we can apply a fixed camera camera is already mounted on the each side, and whenever the workers came and they mount the camera and they start their activity and then they unmount the camera and go. And the third option was moving robot. That was our solution. Why we use our solution? It's because there is a lot of wear and tear in mounting and unmounting the cameras. So that's why we developed the robot that is portable. Company can take that robot to perform all these activities to keep surveillance on their workers. Now, what was the benefit that company don't need to pay an extra individual to go and check for them that whether persons are following safety protocols or not. Moreover, there's a lot of budget consumption in sending the that person while you are paying for a petrol, for a vehicle, etc. So there are a lot of budget issues. So for as a company, it counted as a loss. So that's why it is a very profitable solution for companies are moving robot. So our robot introduction is that we are using Ogdi. Basically, it's not Ogdi Lite, but we can use Ogdi as well. So Ogdi camera and there is robotic arm. Robotic arm is basically used that there are some little kind of hurdles and save on these type of areas. So we can easily move hurdles in the way of robot with the help of this robotic arm. And we use Ogdi camera because we don't. It is very. It's consume very small amount of current, and it gives a lot of high performance. Like we don't need any kind of GPU for inference of AI custom models, so we can deploy any custom model on Ogdi. So this is the hardware we were using. Basically, we were using the mechanism wheels. Safety sites can be congested as well. So mechanism wheels provide us the flexibility to move into any direction. Like in the diagram on the right top, directions are shown that it can go diagonally as well, left diagonal, right diagonal, in the back diagonal, and it can rotate about its own axis as well. And while the other cars have their front tires that are only rotating, its four tires don't rotate, but it can move left to right as well. And we are using Raspberry Pi Zero. A lot of people will going to shock that why you are using AI and you are using Raspberry Pi Zero. So this is the beauty of our project that we are using Ogdi. Ogdi got its own Intel chip on which all inference is done, and any custom script you can run. So it will run on that camera, and you will have 0% load on the host machine. And I think Raspberry Pi 02W is the best solution for that because it's cost about $5 only. So that's why we choose that. While we use Arduino, Arduino is basically
I just want
please.
to emphasize that point, right? A lot of people think that, the cameras itself, Ogdi, if you look at the cheapest version of Ogdi, which doesn't have the stereo component, and you tie it to something as cheap as Raspberry Pi Zero, it just costs $5. You can build an AI solution for very inexpensive amount, right?
Yeah,
You don't
like
need
$120 US, something like that.
yeah, yeah, and that's way less than what you would pay if you were using any kind of Jetson board, right? And that's very important, right? I mean, in real life, it's very important that you take care of all these constraints, right? It is not just, oh, you have to solve this problem. You have to solve the problem in the right amount of time and in the right amount of budget, right? And that's why using some of these cameras where the processing is done on board is very, very useful.
Yeah, and whether it's music or computer vision, constraints are great. They inspire creativity. So
Right.
yeah, work with the constraints.
Basically, electronics also provides the cameras that have inbuilt hosts like OpenPOE, OGD POEs, but
Yeah.
they are expensive than OGD. So that's why we use just 3.0, because if a person don't need an IP67 rated camera, why is going to use that camera? So we can use 3.0. And Arduino we are using basically to control motors and robotic arms. We are using TT motors. For mechanical wheels, there are 4 TT motors, and in robotic arm, we are using servo motors. 6 GOF robotic arm, and we are using all of these servos. And robotic arm is completely 3D printed. It is open source design. We haven't designed it that. It is also open source, and we printed by at our own. Okay, the next slide. The software we are using is OpenCV, and we were doing all the image processing via OpenCV. We are using DepthAI. DepthAI basically is a library which most people don't know about. DepthAI is a library that will program this camera. In DepthAI, we create a whole pipeline, whether we want to use stereo camera or not, we want to use RGB camera, which model we want to get influence on, what script we want to run on the camera. It is all done by DepthAI. OpenVINO is used to convert your model into blob format to optimize your models. Like you have trained your model in YOLO V8, you want to convert it into dot blob format. You can easily convert it using OpenVINO.
And you
And
get a
we have used
great performance improvement with OpenVINO for free, basically. We talk about this a bit on the show. Shout out to OpenVINO, who are currently sponsoring some content on OpenCV.
That's great tool. And we were using Python, OpenCV, and other libraries are also available in C++, but we prefer Python because it is easy to use. And we are using YOLO framework. Probably we are using YOLO V8 for all of our detections models. Like we are using VLC detection, helmet detection, etc. These are all YOLO V8 trained models, and we have optimized it using OpenVINO. We are using Arduino programming language. This is basically just a C++ programming language, and we use it to control robotic arm and DT motors. And it will take input from Raspberry Pi as well via serially. And these are our checkpoints we were testing in the first video. The robot was very at initial stage. There was no batteries, no robotic arm. And in the second, we have tested robotic arm. You can see there are servos, 2 MD996R servos, and 2 SG90 servos. And we have soldered at our own. We haven't printed PCB because we don't have the facility. So we soldered it on a Vero board. Okay, that's the feature. I think it will be gonna be little bit unique from other applications, that in case of fire, or you can also include it in a helmet detection as well, that if we got fire on a security on a safety site, so everybody got panicked, no doubt. In any emergencies, everybody got panicked. So what camera do is that if we detect fire in the scene, it will automatically generate an email and send it to the administration, so they can take any kind of action they want. And in case of helmet detection, it can also send a snapshot to the administrator as well, so that they can take action on the worker as well. So it gone very easy, and they don't need to send any kind of person who will tell them that somebody is not fulfilling, and a lot of scenarios. So application was, it is also used for fall detection as well. And let's suppose the person somehow falls from the tower. Basically in Pakistan, we have a lot of work on the towers as well. So if a person falls from a tower, then it will immediately inform their administrators that a person fall from a tower, so they can call an ambulance, or they can arrange first aid as well. Fire detection I has always talked about. Cone detection. Cone detection is also important on these such type of sites because cones tell whether the forward side is approachable or not. Sometimes there is a manholes that are open and a person can fall into. And moreover, there are some cranes that are working on, and we have to tell the crane operator that you must need to stay in between these safety cones. So from this robot, we can also help the crane operator as well. So there are some advancements we are.
If I can butt in here, we've got a quick question from the audience. How did you
Yeah,
decide
sure.
how did you decide what safety features to build in here? I saw you mentioned a few. Did you have a bigger list and had to cut some, or like what informed these specific decisions?
Actually, there are subcons. So basically, they are mainly targeting on helmet detection and cone detection and fire detection. Basically, they send a person. So its main duties are these three, not all. Because there are some PPs they have to carry. They always need to wear it, but most of the people don't wear helmet actually. So they got a lot of penalties. So that's why we created a robot that can do only 3 operations right now, but we can go further as well. We have a lot of bunch of other protocols as well. So the advancement we are making is we can deploy it into mines as well. As you know that in mines there are certain amount of gases like methane, black carbon, nitrogen dioxide. So we can check that how much quantity in the air that these gases are. So if these gases breach certain level, so we can evacuate the mines as well. So we are using our big tires as well, so they can go off-roading as well. Here are these tires. You may look, they are their size as well. So we are using gas sensors, I told, and we are going to use Opti Pro. Opti Pro is a very good camera. It got IR sensor as well. So in the mines, we don't need to light up all the mines. This camera can collect the images without in the dark as well. And Raspberry Pi Zero, our best friend, we are going to use that, and gas sensor.
What kind of
Okay, there are.
what kind of battery?
Sorry?
What kind of battery do you use, and how long does this thing last?
In the advanced components, we haven't calculated yet. We are working on that as well. But in the Opti Sentinel, we have, I think, 7,000 mAh battery was 12 volt 7,000 mAh battery was included, and it can last about an hour or 2 hours. So it was a great battery timing. So we are also introducing the solar energy as well, because safety sites are all outside, and robot needs to stay at one place as well. So it can recharge itself. We are using solar power.
You can say that your robot lasts longer than the Apple Vision Pro.
There are some other OpenCV projects we are working on. Basically, it's ANPR, and in these projects, OpenCV have a lot of contribution. Like you have to apply some image processing. You can see here some results. We have applied different image processing techniques using OpenCV, and we got different time consumed and different outputs as well. The original number plate was AQF 842, but sometimes model get confused at Q and O because they are very similar characters. So we have to apply some image processing techniques using OpenCV that will get our model a help, so that it can identify correctly that it is O and Q within a good amount of time. So the minimum time at which we got good amount of time consumption is 3.3 seconds without GPU. It's on CPU on Google Colab. We haven't enabled GPU yet. So this project leads to other two projects as well, that are automatic garage opener. Automatic garage opener does that. It will there is a camera at your garage as well. When your car reaches at garage, the garage will open automatically. That you don't need to control it from your app or any other, because sometimes you are not carrying a remote for a garage. Sometimes you can't have multiple remotes as well. Suppose that your son gone and he have another car. So how do you know that who have the remote? So that's another issue. So there is another project, vehicle tracking. I think this is a very unique project. I haven't seen it in my life, and I want to do it badly, very badly. So in this, every signal will have an camera, and it will detect all the number plates. And let's suppose if a car is stolen, a government can just give that car number, and it can identify all the route that car have gone. Like at this chalk, a car is detected, it will draw on the map, and it will give the live feed that where is the car is going, and it will update after each signal, because at every signal a number plate will be detected. So that's all from our side. If you got any question from audience.
Yes, thank you so much. This is the first time we've actually had a guest bring it in at 9:37 in quite some time. We've been going over the last few months. We've got a bunch of questions, but I think right now we can do our trivia giveaway. So go ahead and unshare your screen if you will. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much everybody for joining us today. We hit a milestone here on LinkedIn during the show, 180 live concurrent viewers on LinkedIn for this episode, which is I think our biggest ever. So pretty excited about that. Those of you who watch this show every week don't need to be reminded, but those of you who are joining us for the first time may need a little refresher. On the show, we do a giveaway to you in the audience here in our Zoom chat. If you're not in Zoom, you can get there by going to opencv.live. That's opencv.live. I'm going to ask a trivia question that I've made up based on the presentation from our esteemed guests, and the first person to answer that question correctly in the Zoom chat will win the OpenCV course of their choosing. You can see what courses are on offer by going to opencv.org/university. We launched OpenCV University at CVPR last year, and it has been a big success. Before I get to the trivia question, Satya, do you want to talk a little bit about OpenCV University to the folks out there?
Yeah, so OpenCV University is basically we have courses and programs that enable you to take your first steps in AI. So people who are serious about a career in AI, we have several programs and courses for them. Now, the reason I say that you have to be serious because it's not a low touch thing. There are a few courses that, there is a generative AI course that you can do over a weekend. There's a short course on OpenCV that you can do in a month. But most of our courses are long courses, right? These will take you a solid 3-4 months if you're working on it every day for an hour, right? So this is for people who are serious. It's almost like you can think about these courses as master's level courses in computer vision and AI. In fact, I did not learn as much as we teach during my master's. During my PhD, I learned about my PhD topic, but the broad breadth of things that we teach in our courses, I don't think it's available in any master's or PhD course, just because of the breadth of topics we covered. So yeah, so that's OpenCV University for people who are interested. Please, head out to opencv.org/university, and you will see all the offering. And I can very easily say that these are the best online courses available for people who are interested in computer vision and AI.
Yeah, and there's even a free boot camp, a very compressed, simple boot camp available for those of you out there who want to dip your feet in the water without spending any money.
Yeah.
So
for OpenCV and TensorFlow, we have a 3-hour crash course kind of thing, so that you just get a feeling of what the courses would look like. but it's just a little bit, right? So 3 hours, and you will learn quite a bit. If you're a beginner, you will learn quite a bit, and we have it for both OpenCV and TensorFlow.
Yep, the first one's always free, folks. So get ready to answer the trivia question here in the Zoom chat. The first person to answer both parts of this trivia question will win the OpenCV course of their choosing. If you have won in the last couple of months, please do not answer and give someone else a chance to win. So our guests this week were the popular vote winners of OpenCV AI Competition 2023, hosted by Hackster.io, and they are from a specific university. What is the name of that university and where is it located? The name and location of our guests' university. Be more specific than the country.
And also the full name of the university.
Yeah.
It is a National University of
Getting
Technology, and
close.
basically,
Got it. New
sorry.
Tech, Pakistan, from Arvinder Pal Singh Bali is the winner this week. So please send one email to phil@opencv.org, and you will get your prize. We've got a bunch of questions here. Before we get to that, I would like to remind people of something cool that we've been talking about with our friends at Intel. They've put together this kit for defect detection, and they reached out to OpenCV because they thought it would be of interest to the OpenCV community, and are sponsoring us here. So I would like to quickly share the website for that project. You can go to the Intel developer section here and find open potential for real-world AI solutions. And you may see some familiar faces here. They've got Edge AI reference kits that just have everything you need in one box. And you'll find in the videos our old friend Paula Ramos, who has been on this show multiple times, and another OpenCV competition success story. Paula participated in several competitions and in part used the success in those competitions to land a sweet gig at Intel, and has been doing a lot of great work there with most recently with their really impressive Anomalib library, which they showed off at CVPR last year as well. And they're doing a bunch of interesting videos and other content around that. Satya, would you like to talk a little bit about Anomalib?
Yeah, so it's an anomaly detection library, works on OpenVINO, and you can try it out. It's interesting. Works on a wide variety of problem sets. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Paula. She was one of the contestants in OpenCV AI competition. I do not remember which years. She participated in 2 years. And she's originally from Colombia. And after this competition, etc., she got a lot of visibility, and Intel hired her. She now works with Intel. And she's not only works with Intel, she's been instrumental in creating this and promoting this library, Anomalib. So check it out.
And I'm sure is also responsible for greatly improving the quality of the coffee at Intel. That's my guess. We talked a bit about coffee on the last time she was on the show. If you're watching, hi Paula. We've got a bunch of great questions here from the audience. Before we get to questions, I'd like to ask a question of our own. To our guests today, can you talk a little bit about what your experience has been with OpenCV competition? Have you participated in our competition before, and do you think you will again, having won? I also heard on the pre-show chat before we went live here that you won another prize for this project. Would you like to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, basically it was our first time we were participating in OpenCV competition, and it went very great. And the OpenCV competition 2024, we are going to participate in that as well. And the project we will going to participate will gonna be the vehicle tracking. I told in my presentation as well. And for right now, it might look easy, but it's way greater than easy. And today we won from another competition as well. It's named as AI InnoFest, and here's the shield. You may look. It's AI InnoFest 2024, and it's a great shield. And thanks a
Yeah,
lot,
we
Satya.
need to get fancy plaques. I don't that nonprofit money doesn't pay for plaques. We got to work on that for next year. We need if you're out there and you want to sponsor plaques, hit me up, phil@opencv.org.
I want to take this opportunity to also mention that for 2024 OpenCV AI competition, we are looking for sponsors. We have one sponsor, Orbec, who has already committed some prize money, but we are looking for companies who can sponsor the competition. So please reach out to us if your company is interested.
Yeah, and it's a great way to get some goodwill and give back to the community. We go out of our way to make sure that people know, who the sponsors are and to thank them on shows like this. We'll even invite some sponsors to be on the show. So yeah, if you're part of an organization that even if you don't necessarily use OpenCV specifically, but which would be impossible, it seems, if you're in the industry at all. But if you want to, get your name out there, even if you're a smaller organization, this can help a lot to increase the kind of mind share that you have in the industry, because everybody loves OpenCV. We even have T-shirts that say that on it. Miriam, thoughts on OpenCV AI competition? What was it like to participate this year?
It's a good experience for me to participate in the competition, and we won the competition firstly. Like participate first time and won first time, so it's a nice experience. And we try that we participate in the competition next time also.
Awesome. We look forward to it. Maybe we'll have you back on next year if your project wins a prize.
Yeah.
We're going to actually have a few other people join us on from the competition. Team the Frisia project from Team Barolo, who have been on the show before, will be back. So looking forward to that as well. It looks like we're having some issues with our guests here, but I'll just keep talking and hopefully it goes away. We've got a bunch of great questions, so let's get to some questions here. We've got about 10 minutes left. Pani Madi would like to know, says, awesome project, and would like to know if the code is available on a public GitHub repository.
Yeah, it is available on GitHub as well, and you can check documentation on hexter.io as well. It is documented, and the code link is also given.
Great. I will drop that link in the chat here. We love to see open source projects win. It's it's close to our heart here at OpenCV because we're open source too. So there's the link
if
for
you
everybody
need
there.
any kind of help, you can contact me as well.
Great. We've got another question here from Sinan Basar. They'd like to know, can Opti Sentinel distinguish between a real fire and a photo of a fire? Meaning, like, does it matter if it's just a picture being held up or something on somebody's phone, or does it actually have to be a real fire?
Basically, you can see in my presentation as well that we are detecting a fire from screen. We can also do that as well, that it will detect the real fire by using the mono cameras. But we can, but right now it is also sensing the images as well. The reason behind it that we don't need on the safety side, why a person will gonna show the artificial fire or picture of fire? It doesn't make any sense. So why we are going to use a mono camera? So right now we have the Opti light available, so that's why we use. Otherwise, we will gonna use an OP one. So we don't need a stereo camera as well.
Got it. Yeah, some folks are asking for your LinkedIn profiles on there. I saw it. Thank you, Miriam, for pasting the link there. You can find both of our guests on LinkedIn. I'll drop the links here for both. And we've got some more questions from you in the audience. Jordan would like to know what processing is done on the Oak camera system and what is offloaded to other processing.
Basically, you can load any custom script or custom model on the OP cameras. You have trained your AI model, a normal AI model for any kind of data set, custom data set. You can convert it into .blob format. You need to for these cameras. So OpenVideo is the best tool for that. You can do that by just drag and drop the model. In the chat box, I shall drop the link as well, from where you can easily access that site, and you would need to just drop the model and it will convert it into a blob format. You don't need to struggle a lot in a coding process as well. For the second part of the question.
Well, so just to reiterate one more thing is that when you're using a Raspberry Pi Zero for a project, there's nothing really you can do on the Raspberry Pi. All the processing is done on the camera, right? So Raspberry Pi is just serving as the CPU that is kind of connecting all the pieces together. But you really cannot do much processing on Raspberry Pi Zero because it's also responsible for other things, right? It's responsible for making sure that the communication, etc., happens, and whatever you detect on the camera, it needs to go and do something with the detection, right? So those kinds of things happen on the Raspberry Pi Zero, but really all the AI stuff happens on the camera itself.
Yeah, Raspberry Pi Zero is acting just like an host. It is providing all host capabilities, and we use some softwares that we will not going to directly access the Raspberry Pi Zero. Actually, we are going to have the monitor, a virtual monitor, you may say, in our laptops as well. So we can access the Raspberry Pi wirelessly as well. There are a lot of software out there, open source software you can easily access. Raspberry Pi also got inbuilt software and like TeamViewer and some other VNC viewer. It's a inbuilt default Raspberry Pi Zero software that you can share your screen with any other device, and you can get the remote access link easily.
Excellent. Yeah. Big fan of the Pi Zero. There's been so many interesting little projects done with it just due to the form factor, the low power draw. It's still, relatively powerful for the small size. It's faster than the first 4 or 5 computers I ever owned. But kind of slow for modern purposes. We've got another question here in the chat about the camera. The hardware accelerator in the camera, they were asking, it's a Myriad X from Movidius. Yes, indeed it is. I'd like to also, people are asking about other competitions and stuff. Our OpenCV Silver members at Hackster have several competitions running right now, in fact, that you could, folks watching could join. There's the Pervasive AI Developer Contest from AMD, which has some big prizes, a $10,000 gift card, which spicy. That is open until June 30th. There's also the Future of Resilience contest with Microchip that is open until March 31st. First prize there gets a $1,000 gift card and a toolkit and a special swag pack. And there's also the AI Innovation Challenge being sponsored by SparkFun and NVIDIA. So check out those competitions on Hackster. We really appreciate everything Hackster does. Big shout out to Ginger, Alex, and Jessica at Hackster, the holy trinity of open source community hardware. Got some more questions here in the chat. We're pushing up on time, but I think we can answer a few more. Avinash would like to know about your upcoming project, the vehicle tracking. Have you begun looking into the current state of open source vehicle tracking? Or for example, are there any blind spots in the vehicle tracking system? Like what do you think are going to be the biggest issues while you're developing this?
Basically, the main issue is that in my presentation, you may see that the picture taken of a car is not just a picture taken from the front of the car. It's just a little bit tilt. So a normal person couldn't tell easily that what was the number of that curve. So what we are using is we are using OpenCV to convert it into a bird eye view image. So if we have a bird eye view image, then we can apply some image processing techniques like image enhancing. Now there are a lot of algorithms of image enhancing, and yeah, somebody answered the homographic. That's a technical terminology for that. So basically, when you got that bird eye view image, so you need to enhance that image. So there are a lot of algorithms that take up too much time, and there are some algorithms that take less much time, but they don't have any they don't lead to any kind of good benefit. So we need to select good image processing filters, and we so that there are a lot of other models that EasyOCR that will do optical character recognition. So they will pull out all the digits of the number plates and extract that into a string format. So that's the main hard work that most of the people will gonna do. And the other hard work is that how will you gonna create a full 2D map, just like a Google Maps. And we can use Google Maps API, but it is paid. They said that they won't charge, but everybody don't want to use their credit card on Google Maps as well. So there are some softwares, open source softwares that we are working on. I'm not going to tell right now because we have to participate in the competition as well. So
Yeah, no, keep those cards close. Like we'll
yes.
best of luck in the next competition for sure. We'll talk a little bit about our upcoming episodes. Next week, we're planning to have a roundtable discussion about Apple Vision Pro. Do you want to talk about that a little bit here, Satya?
Yes. So I got I got my Apple Vision Pro. Whoops. Right here. We are going to have a discussion. There will be two more guests in our discussion, and we are going to discuss what is the vision part of Apple Vision Pro, right? What are the different things that you can do with Apple Vision Pro? And also, it will be a wide-ranging discussion. We'll discuss what are the techniques Apple might be using. It's not public knowledge, right? But we will speculate on what are the different techniques they are going to use, what are the various cameras available. There are like a dozen cameras on this thing. There is a LiDAR, there is a true depth camera. So all those things, just to get an overview of what these sophisticated devices look like and what they pack in, we'll discuss all of it, and also how to use it in creative ways. So it's going to be a very exciting discussion. I'm actually spending a lot of time this week playing with Apple Vision Pro and calling it work. So that I can contribute to that discussion as well.
Excellent. Yes, and that will be our episode next week. The week after that, we will have Team Barolo talking about Frisia, their robot dog project, which was a prize winner at OpenCV AI Competition 2023. And then the week after that, we will have Bart T, our friend who has been on the show a few times here, won a prize in a previous competition for the virtual reality kind of paintball type of game that he made, which was really interesting. I think some of you may have seen this on LinkedIn. I don't know if we've talked about this, Tia. Did you see the wearable AI, the open source wearable AI? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I saw this on LinkedIn and immediately was like, Bart, we got to have you back on the show. So this is Owl. I think people probably saw that Rabbit AI hardware device that made some decent press waves recently. But this is an open source, always on wearable AI that's a little bit bigger than an American quarter, and can talk to your watch, talk to your phone. It's really interesting and impressive launch that they put out here, and the code is up on GitHub. So it's ESP32 based, I believe. So go check that out if you're interested. I'm sure they're looking for collaborators and looking for people to just use the thing and test it. So really excited for that episode coming up in a few weeks. With that said, I think we're about out of time here. Satya, you want to take us home?
Yes, thank you so much for for being part of the show. Thanks so much for participating in OpenCV AI competition. Awab and Mariam, it's a pleasure to have you here, and keep working on your projects and keep participating in these competitions. Because as students, you get a lot of visibility in these through these competitions. As we have seen, Paula is a prime example of where it can take you, right? So, and I'm very thankful to both of you and your other teammate for participating in this competition. And thanks, Phil, for organizing the show. It's always a pleasure to be on the show with you when you do all the hard work and I just show up.
124 episodes. Can you believe it?
And people who have not actually, we are going to post this on our YouTube channel. If you have not already subscribed, please do subscribe to it. We have been growing. The number of subscribers has been going quite a bit.
We're
So,
pushing up on 20K.
oh, wow, that's awesome. All right, and thank you, the whole audience. Really thankful that you show up every week and we are able to present something interesting to you every week. That's it.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of somebody else if you can, and have a great day wherever you may be.